If you've ever cut carbs and suddenly felt spaced out, slow, or oddly unmotivated, you're not imagining it. That brain fog feeling is common, especially in the first days or weeks. The key is that your brain is picky about fuel, and it also reacts to fast changes in hormones and electrolytes. Low-carb eating can work well for many people, but the transition can be bumpy, and sometimes the problem isn't low-carb itself. It's how low-carb is being done. In this breakdown, you'll learn the most common reasons thinking can feel slower. You'll also learn how to tell the difference between a short adaptation phase and a sign that something is off. We'll talk about glucose, ketones, salt, sleep, stress, and even caffeine. By the end, you'll have a clear checklist to troubleshoot your own fog. Moving to slide 2. First, let's separate two different situations. One is short-term adaptation fog, where your body is learning to run on less glucose and more fat-derived fuel. The other is ongoing fog that sticks around and affects work, mood, and memory. Adaptation fog often shows up with headaches, low energy, and a flat feeling. It tends to improve as your liver increases ketone production and your muscles get better at using fat. Persistent fog is different. It can come from undereating, poor sleep, low sodium, or a carb level that's too low for your training and stress load. The timeline matters. If symptoms peak early and then steadily improve, that's a clue you're adapting. If symptoms worsen week after week, you need a different explanation. The goal isn't to push through blindly. It's to identify which lever is actually causing the slowdown. Moving to slide 3. A big driver of low-carb fog is simple. Your brain still uses glucose, even if you're making ketones. Ketones can cover a large share of brain energy in deeper ketosis, but not all of it. When you suddenly drop carbs, your blood glucose can run lower than you're used to. At the same time, your body may not yet be producing and using ketones efficiently. That gap can feel like slow processing, poor word recall, and reduced mental stamina. It's not that your brain is starving. It's that the fuel mix is changing and the delivery system is adjusting. People who cut carbs aggressively while also cutting calories often feel this more. So do people who are very active, because muscles compete for available glucose during the transition. This is one reason a gradual reduction can feel smoother than an overnight drop to very low carbs. Moving to slide 4. One of the most underestimated causes is electrolyte loss, especially sodium. When insulin drops on low carb, your kidneys tend to excrete more sodium and water. That's part of why people see quick scale changes early on. But sodium isn't just about water weight. Sodium helps maintain blood volume, nerve signaling, and stable blood pressure. If blood volume dips, some people feel lightheaded, tired, and mentally dull. Potassium and magnesium matter too, but sodium is often the first domino. This is also why keto flu symptoms can look like brain fog, headaches, and fatigue all at once. If you're drinking a lot of plain water without replacing electrolytes, you can dilute things further. The fix isn't to panic or megadose. It's to recognize that low-carb changes fluid handling, and your brain can feel that shift quickly. Moving to slide 5. Another common mistake is accidentally going too low in total energy. Low carb can reduce appetite, which sounds great, until you're underfueled. Your brain is energy hungry, and it notices when overall intake drops. Undereating can also raise stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, especially if you're training hard or sleeping poorly. That combination can feel like brain fog, but it's often more like mental jitter plus low patience. You might feel wired, yet unable to focus. It can also make you more sensitive to caffeine, because your baseline stress chemistry is already elevated. This is why clean eating can backfire when it becomes not enough eating. If your carbs go down and your fat and protein don't go up enough to compensate, your brain may interpret it as scarcity. Moving to slide 6. Protein can also play a role, in two different ways. If protein is too low, you may not get enough amino acids to support neurotransmitters, chemical messengers involved in focus, motivation, and mood. But if protein is extremely high while carbs are very low, some people feel flat or restless because the diet becomes harder to sustain and sleep can suffer. There's also the question of gluconeogenesis, where the body can make glucose from protein. That process is normal and useful, but it's not an instant brain fuel switch. The bigger issue is consistency. Stable meals, adequate total calories, and enough protein to maintain lean tissue. If your low-carb plan is mostly random snacks, or you're skipping meals and then overeating late, your brain gets a roller coaster. Stable inputs usually create stable outputs, especially for attention and memory. Moving to slide 7. Now let's talk about sleep, because low-carb brain fog is often a sleep problem in disguise. When carbs drop, some people experience lighter sleep, more awakenings, or early waking. One reason is that stress hormones can rise during adaptation, especially if calories are low or training is high. Another reason is that carbs can influence serotonin and melatonin pathways indirectly, which can affect how easily you fall asleep. You don't need carbs to sleep, but some people do better with a small amount at dinner. Also, if you're adding more caffeine to push through the fog, that can easily create a loop. Worse sleep, worse focus, more caffeine. If your fog is strongest in the morning, after a full night that didn't feel restorative, look at sleep quality first. A sharper brain often starts the night before. Moving to slide 8. Training intensity is another big variable. If you're doing high-intensity intervals, heavy lifting, or long endurance sessions, your body may prefer more carbohydrate availability. Not because fat can't fuel movement, but because certain intensities rely more on glycogen, stored carbohydrate in muscle. When glycogen is low, workouts can feel harder, recovery can slow, and your nervous system can feel taxed. That nervous system fatigue can look like brain fog, low drive, slower reaction time, and poor concentration. This is where some people do better with targeted carbs around training or a slightly higher daily carb intake, while still staying lower carb overall. The point is individual fit. A sedentary day and a hard training day are not the same metabolic problem. If your fog tracks your workout schedule, that's a strong clue your carb level and training style aren't matched yet. Moving to slide 9. Low carb can also change your thyroid signaling in subtle ways. The thyroid helps regulate energy use, temperature, and overall metabolic pace. Some studies show that very low-carb diets can reduce T3, an active thyroid hormone, while T4 may stay the same. That doesn't automatically mean something is wrong, because the body can become more efficient and need less T3 in some contexts. But in other people, especially with chronic calorie restriction or high stress, lowered T3 can line up with feeling cold, sluggish, and mentally slow. This is where context matters. Your baseline health, your sleep, your energy intake, and how aggressive the carb restriction is. If brain fog comes with persistent fatigue and cold intolerance, it's worth taking that pattern seriously. The solution isn't one size fits all. It's often about dialing in sustainability, not pushing extremes. Moving to slide 10. Gut changes can contribute too, and they're easy to miss. When you remove a lot of carbohydrate sources, you often remove a lot of fiber and resistant starch. That can shift the gut microbiome, and for some people, it changes bowel habits, bloating, or comfort. Discomfort alone can reduce focus. But there's also a signaling angle. Gut bacteria produce compounds like short-chain fatty acids that interact with inflammation and brain signaling. The science is still developing, but the gut-brain connection is real. If your low-carb diet is mostly meat and cheese with very few plants, you might be missing the variety of fibers that keep digestion steady. On the other hand, if you suddenly increase sugar alcohols or ultra-processed keto products, that can also cause gut issues and fog. A calmer gut often means a calmer brain, and food quality matters as much as macros. Moving to slide 11. Another layer is micronutrients. When people go low-carb, they sometimes narrow their food list. And the narrower the list, the easier it is to miss key nutrients that support cognition. B vitamins help with energy metabolism in the brain. Iron supports oxygen delivery. Iodine and selenium support thyroid function. Magnesium supports nerve signaling and sleep quality. None of these are magic, but small deficits can add up, especially if you're also losing electrolytes early on. The tricky part is that symptoms overlap. Low iron can feel like fatigue and poor concentration. Low magnesium can feel like tension and poor sleep. If your low-carb plan removed legumes, whole grains, and fruit, you need to replace those nutrients from other sources, not just remove foods and hope for the best. A good low-carb diet is not a restrictive diet. It's a well-designed diet with different building blocks. Moving to slide 12. Let's address ketones directly, because there's a common misunderstanding. Being low-carb doesn't automatically mean you're in deep ketosis. And being in ketosis doesn't automatically mean your brain feels amazing. Ketone levels depend on carb intake, protein intake, energy balance, activity, and individual metabolism. Early on, some people produce ketones but don't use them efficiently yet, so performance doesn't match the lab number. Others feel great at modest ketone levels because electrolytes, sleep, and calories are solid. Also, if you're chasing ketones while under-eating, you can feel worse, not better. The practical takeaway is to focus on symptoms and habits, not just a single metric. If your thinking is slow, the likely culprits are still the basics: hydration, sodium, total energy, sleep, and a carb level that matches your life. Ketones are one piece, not the whole puzzle. Moving to slide 13. So how do you troubleshoot low-carb brain fog in a calm, logical way? Start with the simplest checks. 1. Are you replacing sodium and fluids appropriately, or are you just drinking more water? 2. Are you eating enough total calories, especially if appetite dropped? 3. Is sleep quality stable, or did it quietly get worse? 4. Is your training intensity high enough that you may need more carbs, at least around workouts? 5. Are you relying on ultra-processed keto foods that upset your gut? And 6. Is your food variety wide enough to cover micronutrients? Notice what changes the fog within 24 to 72 hours. Electrolytes and sleep can shift quickly. Micronutrients and thyroid-related patterns are slower and need a longer view. If you approach it like a checklist, you avoid the trap of blaming carbs for everything. Often, the fix is not quitting low-carb. It's doing low-carb with better support. Moving to slide 14. Here's the bottom line. Low-carb brain fog usually isn't mysterious. It's most often a temporary fuel transition, an electrolyte issue, or an energy and sleep mismatch. If you want mental clarity, you're aiming for stability. Stable hydration, stable sodium, stable meals, and stable sleep. Then you tune carbs to your actual life, your stress, your training, and your preferences. If you've been foggy for weeks, don't treat it like a willpower test. Treat it like feedback. Adjust one variable at a time so you can tell what helped. If you want more deep dives like this, subscribe. And I'm curious about your experience. When you go low carb, do you feel better with A, more salt, or B, a little more carbs at dinner? Share A or B in the comments. This information is not a substitute for medical advice. Insulin drives the system. Understand it.